boys and girls. We're still talking about plants today. Now, we've learned what plants need. Plants need sunlight, soil, and water. Good. And we've learned how plants start and how they grow. They start as a seed, then the roots grow down, then a sprout comes up, then it grows leaves, and eventually a flower, which makes new seeds, which starts the whole thing over again. Yesterday, you did a great job writing sentences and illustrating them to show me what you wanted to grow in your garden. I showed you what I wanted to grow in my garden, but I've changed that sentence today. So let's read this new sentence to see something else I want to grow in my garden. We read part of this sentence yesterday. I will, remember this word? Grow corn and two vowels go walking. The first one does the talking. So that says the E makes an E sound. Beans in my garden. I will grow corn and beans in my garden. Great. So we know that the plants grow down to make the roots and that they grow up. And so we have top and we've got bottom and sometimes we have the middle too. And we talked about all the different vegetables and good foods that can grow that made my salad yesterday. So my story today for you is called Tops and Bottoms. And it's written and illustrated by Janet Stevens. Now this book is a little bit different because instead of looking at the pictures this way, we look at the pictures with a top and a bottom. And it's a great story for my friend Bartholomew. So let's read. Tops and Bottoms, adapted and illustrated by Janet Stevens. Once upon a time, there lived a very lazy bear who had lots of money and lots of land. His father had been a hard worker and a smart business bear, and he had given all of his wealth to his son. But all Bear wanted to do was sleep. Not far down the road lived a hare. Although Hare was clever, he sometimes got into trouble. He had once owned land too, but now he had nothing. He had lost a tricky bet with a tortoise and had sold all of his land to Bear to pay off his debt. Hare and his family were in very bad shape. "Oh, the children are hungry, Father Hare. We must think of something," Mrs. Hare said one day. So Hare and Mrs. Hare put their heads together and cooked up a plan. The next day, Hare tromped down the road to Bear's house. Bear, of course, was asleep. "Hello, Bear, wake up. It's your neighbor Hare, and I've got an idea." Bear opened one eye and grunted. "Huh? We can be business partners," Hare said. "All we need is this field right here in front of your house. I'll do all the hard work, and all you have to do is sleep. And we'll split the profits right down the middle. Yes, sir, Bear. We're in this together. I'll work and you sleep." "Huh?" said Bear. "So what's it going to be, Bear?" shouted Hare. "The top half or the bottom half? It's up to you. What you want? You want the tops or the bottoms?"
Let's see,"
Bear said with a yawn.
"I'll take the top half."
"Right." Hare smiled and said, "It's a done deal." So Bear went back to sleep. And Hare and his family, they went to work. Hare planted, Mrs. Hare watered, and everyone weeded. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the tops and I get the bottoms." Hare and his family dug up all the carrots and the radishes and the beets. Hare plucked off all the tops and he tossed them into a pile for Bear. And he put the bottoms in a pile for himself. Which would you want? Would you want the bottoms, the good carrots and the beets and those vegetables that grow like roots down underneath? Or would you want the weeds, the top part? Well, Bear stared at his pile. But, Hare, you got all the best parts in your pile." "You chose the tops, Bear. Remember, it was a done deal."
"Oh, now, Hare, you've tricked me. You plant this field again, and this time I want the bottoms."
Hare agreed. He said, "Okay, Bear, it's a done deal." So, Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family, they went to work. They planted, they watered, and they weeded. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the bottoms and I get the tops." So Hare and his family gathered up the lettuce, the broccoli, and the celery. And they pulled off the bottom roots for Bear. And they put that in his pile. Would you want the tops this time? The good broccoli and lettuce? Or would you want the roots and the bottoms? Well, Bear looked at his pile and scowled.
"Hare, you've cheated me again."
"But Bear," Hare said, "you wanted the bottoms this time." Bear growled. "Oh, you plant this field again, Hare. You've tricked me twice. So you owe me one season of both tops and bottoms." "You're right, Bear," said Hare. "It's only fair that you should get both the tops and the bottoms this time. It's a done deal." So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family, they went to work. They planted, they watered, and they weeded. And then they weeded and watered some more. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! This time you get the tops and the bottoms." There in front of Bear's house lay a high field of corn. Hare and his family yanked on every cornstalk. Hare tugged off the roots at the bottom and the tassels at the top, and he put those yucky parts in a pile for Bear. Then he carefully collected the yummy ears of corn in the middle, and he put those in his own pile. Bear rubbed his eyes and watched. See, Bear, you get the tops and the bottoms. I'll take the middles. Yes, sir, Bear. It's a done deal. Well, by now, Bear was wide awake.
That's it, Hare, he hollered. From now on, I'll plant my own crops, and I'll take the tops, the bottoms, and the middles.
Hare and his family scooped up all the corn and hopped down the road towards their home. Bear never again slept through a season of planting and harvesting. Hare bought back his land with the profits that he made from the crops, and he and Mrs. Hare opened up a vegetable stand. And although Hare and Bear learned to live happily as neighbors, they never again became business partners. The end. Now, which would you want? It depends on what you're growing. Some of the vegetables that we eat grew on the tops, like what? Like the lettuce, the broccoli, the celery. Some of the vegetables that we eat grow down in the bottom as the roots, like the carrots and the beets and potatoes. And then some of it grows in the middle, in between the tops and the bottoms. What was that? That was the corn. Great. Well, I have a special treat for you today. I don't have a garden yet at my house, but my very best friend who lives in North Carolina, she does have a garden at her house. She grows lots of yummy vegetables and beautiful flowers. She's just started her garden and things are just starting to grow, and she wants to show you around.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and this is my garden. And I'm going to show you how to plant seeds and put it in some dirt, and I'm going to show you how a plant starts. Are you ready? Okay, this is my potting bench, and on my potting bench I have a few things we need to grow some food. Right here, this is as you can see, those are tomatoes, right? Tomatoes are red, and these are actually little small tomatoes. I'll show you some tomato plants that have grown in my garden in a little bit. And right here, if you can see them, those are tiny little seeds. And those come out of tomatoes, and that's what we use. And we plant it in, this is some dirt. So we use the dirt. I'm going to get in this dirt bag with my shovel. So you've got some nice, yummy dirt. And I'm going to put it in this pot right here. Just like so. I might make a little bit of a mess. Elliot, can you help me with this? This is Elliot. He likes to help things. We're going to show the kindergartners how to plant in a seed. You can put the dirt in the pot. Okay, hold on. Let me hold that for you. It might be too much dirt for that pot. Oh yeah, it's spilled on the garden bench, but that's okay. All right, now we're going to move this out. Oh, Elliot's off to find some other adventure. Bye, Elliot. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a little bitty hole in this pot. And we're going to take one of our little seeds. Remember we saw the seed? It's so tiny. And we're going to put it right there in the hole. Let's see if we can see it with the camera. I think I see it. You see that little white speck? That will become a what? A tomato. We dropped our tomato thing. That's okay. All right. So what we do is we cover this up with just a little bit of dirt. And there we have a tiny little planted pot. And eventually it will grow into a tomato. The springtime is when plants are really starting to grow. but they might not look like what we think they're going to look like. This, for example, is a raspberry plant, and it's got roots that reach into the ground to get its water, and then it's got leaves that reach to the sun to get its food. And eventually this will grow bigger and taller, and it will give us beautiful and delicious raspberries to eat. This is Elliot. Elliot helps me with my garden. We're going to take a walk around the garden and see what's growing. Let's see. These are asparagus. And it takes asparagus a really long time to grow. They have roots under the ground, and the sun comes and it starts to warm up the ground, and that helps the seeds of the asparagus plant grow. What else, Elliot? Elliot's leaving the garden now. Some other things that we have in the garden are flowers. These flowers, these right here, right now they just have leaves, but the sun is shining on them, and so they're getting a lot of food from the sun and from their soil, and soon they will start to grow flowers out of these green leaves. Green leaves are reaching toward the sky. Something else that you're probably familiar with is lettuce. Lettuce is growing really nicely in my garden. Lettuce likes cool weather, so that's why this lettuce is looking so delicious and yummy, and pretty soon we'll be able to pick it and take it inside and eat it. And something else that you might remember is a tomato plant. Right now you don't see any of the red tomatoes, but look here, you can tell that a tomato is planted right there. And pretty soon that plant is going to have red juicy tomatoes on it, and they will be delicious. If you'll remember, we just learned how to plant a seed, and I'm going to show you in my little greenhouse what happens to seeds. So this greenhouse has a light up there that helps the plants grow in the wintertime when it's still cold outside. We're going to pull out some of these plants. So I planted these seeds about 2 months ago. And remember that tiny little tomato seed? Look at these plants and what they're doing. And I've labeled them. This one is a Rudbeckia Cherokee. That means it's a black-eyed Susan. That's going to be a flower. And that over here, that's called a butterfly weed, and that attracts butterflies. But I just wanted to show you what little seeds turn into. They turn into these little plants that we eventually will plant in our garden, and they'll grow big and tall, and they'll grow flowers, because all they need is soil, water, and sun.
So I've got a poster here that helps us see the different parts of the plants, kind of like the ones that Kelly had. So here we see a plant growing, and what are these called? Down here, the part that grows below the dirt. Those are the roots. The roots absorb water and minerals from the soil. Then what's this part called that holds the plant in place? This part is tall and strong, and it carries water up to the top. This part is the stem. The stem carries water and minerals from the roots to all the other parts of the plant. What do we see is starting to grow here? These are the flowers. They're growing fruit and seeds that will start new plants. Here we've got the leaves. The leaves are the part that soak up the sun and help the plant make food. And here's fruit. This fruit comes from the seeds of the plant. I hope you're able to spend some time today outside and look for some plants. See if you can find a plant and find its roots, its stem, its leaves, and its flower. And maybe its fruit that's growing, just like what we saw in Kelly's garden. All right, have a great day, and thank you so much to my friend Kelly for sharing her garden with us.